Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to share with you how I draw a mandala, and this is for beginners, absolute beginners. Now I'm going to show you a technique that you can do that requires very few tools. So usually when we draw mandalas we would use a pencil, obviously, a ruler, we'd have an eraser, and we would use a compass and a protractor. But today I'm going to draw a mandala without the compass and without the protractor. So we're going to use some items that you have around your home. And if you obviously have a compass and a protractor, I would suggest using them because that's going to be a bit more simple. And we're also going to just draw using a basic pen like a Sharpie, a texture, any kind of thick black pen that you have is perfect for what we're going to do today. But instead of our compass and protractor, I am going to use a few items. So the first one is a little sort of shot glass, something that size if you can find something small. The next size will be like a regular glass opening, and the third size is a large bowl. Now I've chosen clear items because when we put them down on our paper to draw around, it's nice to have something to see through. But if you don't have see-through items, that's fine. I'll show you a little trick to get around that as well. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is get our piece of paper and we're going to find the center point. And to do that, all we do is we measure half of the width of the paper, top and bottom, and half of the height of the paper. Which is about for the edge. And then we just draw our lines to connect the dots. And that gives us our center point. Now, next step, what I would normally do is take the compass and draw a small circle from the center and draw a small circle in the middle. But what we're going to do instead is use our little shot glass and we're going to line it up as best as we can in the center. Now a good way if you want to be more accurate is to just do little marks to begin with on the 4 lines and see, yep, that's about center. I'll move it up just a smidge, so we would draw our circle. Now we want to try and be as accurate as we can, but we're not going for perfection, so that's pretty good and pretty centered. Okay, now we'll do the same thing with our next size glass. If you have the compass, of course, you would just draw a larger circle, and we're going to line it up somewhat center and just test that by drawing little marker lines. Take it away, and it's pretty accurate. Maybe I'll just move it to the left a bit, and we draw our circle. Okay, pretty good, pretty accurate. And we do the same thing for our larger circle, in this case my bowl. We pop that in, and it's a bit tricky, but we'll sort of do our little markers and see how we've done. I think pretty accurate on the guesswork, and we'll draw our large circle. So we have now oh, I didn't do very well on the last one. I'll fix that up. See, not even I'm perfect at this. Whoops, there we go. So we have our basic grid. We have our 3 circles, 1, 2, 3, but we are going to need a few more guidelines. So we would normally use the protractor which if we remember back to school, we would line it up with the center and we would measure our angles. And I would go for a 45-degree angle in this case. But if we don't have our protractor, we will simply take our ruler, and on the second circle, we will put the 0 on that where it intersects, and we see here, in my case, it's 6 centimeters. In your case, it might be 5, it might be 7 or more. We just simply find the halfway mark, which in this case is 3, and we do our mark. And we do the same on the other side. 6 centimeters, we take our halfway mark, and then we're going to draw our diagonal line through the center, connecting our 2 dots. And we have our 45-degree angle. Now we do the same on the other side. We line it up, measure our halfway mark, same on the other side. And we draw our diagonal line through the center. And here we have now a very, very basic, very simple mandala grid ready for us to draw onto. Let's get going. What do we need? First, we just need our pencil, obviously, and it's good to have our eraser handy. We start from the center. What are we going to draw first? Well, what I like to draw first are flower type shapes, so petals. So we're going to start here from the center here, and we're going to be drawing into our actual center dot here, okay? So we're going to draw a shape nice and round that hits that line at the bottom and joins at the center point. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side. What you see as being perfection in your eyes is certainly not, but you do your version. Now, this is the pencil sketching phase. So we're going to be simply sketching out very gently at first. If you'd like, you do some small little lines and you get a shape that you're happy with. And we have that trusty old eraser there if we need it. Okay, so I like to draw the shapes facing me, and then I will turn my paper and I will do the same shapes repeated towards me once again. Now, if your petals aren't looking just right, I would suggest that you kind of try and hit the petals together here at the bottom. So this one here, I would say, could be a bit wider at the bottom, and this is where we adjust. So we just sketch, sketch, sketch until we're happy with our shape. Okay, and we're not going for perfection, we're just going for something simple that repeats and can hold its shape. Okay, now next step, so pause the video if you need time to complete this stage. Pause the video at any stage if I'm going too fast, and draw along with me. So now we're going to move on to our 45-degree angle. So I'm going to turn the page towards me so that 45-degree line is facing me. And I'm going to make a marker about halfway down the petals that we just drew. So halfway is about here and about here on these ones. Okay, then I'm going to go from this point here, and I'm just going to draw a small line and basically hit that marker that we just made. Okay, and same on the bottom. We're going to draw it out, and it's just a slight curve. And again, let's not be too fussy with perfection. And we turn our page once again. So the other 45-degree line is now facing me, and we repeat the process. We draw a little dots halfway down the petals, and we're going to connect from this point here down using a nice curved shape like so. And when we turn it back towards us, we can make any minor adjustments that we need. But here we have the beginnings of our beautiful mandala. This is a flower shape. We have petals, and I think it looks pretty good. The next step, what I'm going to do is reaffirm this circle. So this circle here we're going to use. This is going to be one of the lines that we draw in with our pen. Okay, so I have that circle looking quite nice now. What I'm going to do next is shadow that line. So I'm going to go from here and I'm going to do about, what would that be, about 5 millimeters. I'm going to do markers at every 5 millimeter point on the line. So I have a guide, I have a point that I know I'm going to hit. When you're drawing a mandala, it's always good to know where you're ending up. Where's your line going to start and where's your line going to finish? Okay, so this, I'm going to mirror this circle here and create a second circle, just sketching short, lightweight lines, turning my paper as I go and just getting used to holding the pencil fairly lightly. I'm not gripping the pencil really hard and you know, it's a light sketch. This is a lot more enjoyable sketching this way because you can adjust and fix your lines as you go. If you're drawing really hard, you're not going to be able to rub that out. You're going to mark your paper and it's going to be a bit of a mess. You're going to look like chickens have scratched all over your paper. So we'll just go a bit under that line. We're just going by visuals and we're drawing a second circle around the first one we drew. Okay, so again we adjust as we go. This is the sketching phase, and to be honest, this is my most enjoyable phase because I really enjoy watching the mandala come to life with, you know, really lightweight, simple sketches. Pencil sketching is one of my favorite things to do. Now, the next thing we're going to do is draw into our second circle. So we have our we created our secondary circle here. This is going to become our new buffer, and we're going to start to draw from here, from all of these points where this circle intersects the lines. We're going to do some U shapes. We're going to make them fairly large. So again, start and finish points, and we're going to just simply sketch very lightly up and around and get a nice U shape. And we're going to turn 45 degrees and repeat the process. We mark our start and our finish points and we draw a U. We turn once again, start, finish, and we draw a U, an upside down U. Turn again, 45 degrees. Don't forget to breathe. Enjoy the process. Don't be too critical of yourself. Perfection is never the goal. You'll find the more often you draw these types of shapes, the better you'll become at drawing them the first time. So if this is the very first time you're drawing them, you might find the lines are a bit wonky, but that's okay. Because as we keep drawing, we definitely can track our improvement. So we have our U's, our upside down U's. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is draw in between these U's with more U's. So we're drawing beautiful little petals all the way around, filling in the gaps. Turning our page as we go. So we're always drawing away and towards ourselves. And by doing that, we're also actually creating the right direction. We're drawing in the right direction. Now you can see some of mine are wider, some are skinnier. That's fine. We're not going to be very self-critical. We're drawing this for relaxation. We're drawing this for fun. We're drawing this to wind down after a long day or to fill in some time. We're not going to be judging ourselves. And there we have our second row of petals. Okay, so now we're going to approach this outer circle. First thing we're going to do is mark some points in the middle of these U's. Okay, so we're starting on this point here, again facing us, and we draw our markers here and here. So we know where we're starting and we know where we're finishing. And now we're going to draw a nice round petal shape like so. Now, I know you're probably going to draw that line or that curve and it's going to be wrong, or potentially it's going to be wrong. So what I want you to imagine is if I was to draw an imaginary line from point to point, you can see it's just a nice curve around that line, okay? But again, let's not be too judgmental. And we're going to draw the same thing on the other side. Okay, as best we can. Then we're going to turn our paper directly opposite and complete the exact same process. Drawing our dots, our start and our finish point. We draw our curve like so. We turn again, we're going to draw these ones here, from here to the finish points. It doesn't matter what shape. If your outer circle and inner circles obviously are different, ratios, you're going to maybe have a smaller or a longer outer petal. So just based on this concept, create the version that best suits the dimensions that you've created. Okay, once we've achieved those, I can already see that this petal is a lot larger than this one, but I'm not going to worry. Now our 45-degree angle. Here we go. We're going to draw the same shape. Turn again. Let's always draw towards ourselves. Then we're repeating the same action. That way it's repetitive. If I'm drawing at different angles here, I'm not repeating my gestures. By turning my page, I'm repeating my gesture, and that is the magic of the mandala. It's repetitive drawing, and once that shape and that gets into your brain and your body, that's what you're repeating. That's what brings the calm. That's what brings the healing. It's that repetitive. You're not thinking, you're just now on autopilot, and your body is doing the same action. And that's where we become calm and our mind becomes more focused. So we have our basic outer design. Next thing we're going to do is take our little shot glass, our tiniest circle, and we're going to choose a point about a quarter of the way or a third of the way down each petal. Okay, and then we're going to line our glass up with that, and we're going to draw a circle. So all the way around. We're going to repeat these steps. We're going to draw our markers. around. And it creates a cute little pattern to help finish our design. You can also do this with a compass, but just finding something quick and easy to trace around is perhaps the easiest option. Okay. Now, the next step, we are going to create one final little pattern around the outside here. And we're going to do something very similar to these shapes here. So these U's, upside down U's. So what I would do first is turn the page so that the center point of this arc is again facing you. And we're going to sort of imagine an imaginary line through the center of that point. Okay? And we're going to draw our U in the middle of that imaginary line. So we're going to turn and do that for each arc. With mandala designs, I find that if you repeat certain elements, it makes the design a lot better. So repeated elements make the design look organized. They make the design look planned. If I was to be creating new patterns at every turn, it becomes a little bit chaotic because we don't expect that. Our mind actually is looking for order and it's looking for organization, and repetitive drawing, like drawing mandalas, is all about repeating shapes, repeating patterns. Okay, so we've drawn our upside down U's, and now we're going to use these to finish off these little sections here with more U shapes. This becomes the outer petals in our design. It's just a pretty way to finish a mandala edge, and it has the appearance of going all the way underneath the main petals, the larger petals. So you'll see a lot of my designs are finished with a design very similar to this. So complete those all the way around. There we go. The next thing I would like to do is create a shadow line on this arc here. So we're going to just draw our start, our finish point, and our center point, and we're going to draw another little circle below the first one. And we're done. Okay, so now we're going to get started with our Sharpie or any thick texture. And We're going to start once again from where we began at the very beginning. So we're going to outline, just doing nice calm lines, and because we've already done these shapes before in our pencil, you'll find that your body will remember those shapes and hopefully they're a bit easier to draw the second time around. Now we're going to draw this circle, so from point to point, we're just going to gently ease our way around the circle. Now I'm going to colour these in. Like so. Next we're going to draw that secondary circle. And we're just going to draw little sections that we're comfortable with around. We're not going to worry if our line's a little bit wobbly or it's not perfect. That's not a big concern. Okay, now we're going to trace around our U's. Now we outline the large petals. I like to draw the same shape over and over towards me. Then literally the opposite on the bottom. And we're done. Now we're going to draw the tiny little arcs here. 1, 2. and we're going to colour those in. Okay. Next thing we'll do is complete our outer petals. Using our pencil markers as a guide. And we're not going to be too concerned with any inconsistencies because we're drawing for fun. If you're not having fun, well, then you shouldn't be doing it. There we go. Now, this is certainly a point that you could stop at if you're happy. But if you're like me and you like details, or you want to challenge yourself just a little bit further, we can go on and do some more details. So if you feel inspired, let's continue and see how far we can go. As usual, we'll start from the center and we'll draw just a little dot, about 8-9 mils or so from the center of the 4 main petals, okay, from the top. And we're going to take that dot and we're going to aim for the center point again. We're just going to create a lovely little petal shape that mimics the one it sits in. So we're creating another little flower within the flower. Always know where you're starting from and where you're finishing. Perfect. Then in these other petals, we're going to draw a little circle. Just in the same sort of point there. Beautiful. Now, in these large petals, we're going to thicken up this outer line. It's always nice to frame a mandala. I always find that if we have thicker lines towards the outside, it's a nice frame and it balances any extra black or thick lines in the center. So we have, some heavy weight in the center to weight it, to center it, and then we have the thicker lines along the outside to finish it, to frame the mandala. So we're going to thicken up these lines. So we'll just draw another line kind of near that line and fill it in. So we're not going to make it too difficult for ourselves. We're just going to if we want to do any shape fixing, now's the time to fix and adjust that shape if you want. So you can see how dramatically different that already looks. The bold black lines create a lovely frame, and the mandala is looking a lot more complete than it did previously. But we can still keep going. So we're going to now, maybe about 1 centimetre in, we're going to draw a little dot on the line of every large petal, which will become our starting point for our next design. Okay, now our starting point will be here, our finishing point will be here and here. So where the two U's meet each other, we're going to mimic the shape of the outer edge like so. And now we're going to repeat that by turning our page and drawing the same shape towards us all the way round. Now, to do the other side, you can either draw like so. I like to draw this way. It's up to you. Whichever way you do it, make sure you turn your page to create that repetitive motion. Focusing only on the one line, the one curve, repeating over and over. So I think that's looking pretty good, but I do love details, so if you feel inspired, we can keep going. I would like to draw just a circle in each of the petals, just as a little finishing touch. And again, this is a repeating shape from the dot we did here in the center flower. So we're repeating our elements. We're repeating our curves here and here. We're repeating our dots here and here. And we're repeating our U's here and here. You could also color this mandala if you feel the need. But at this point, I would allow the ink to dry and then take the eraser and lightly rub all the pencil lines away. And there we go. There's our completed artwork. I hope you've learned some valuable tricks and techniques to draw a mandala for yourself. You can repeat any of these shapes in any format moving forward to create your own designs and patterns. It's certainly a great way to wind down after a hectic day, and it's a great way just to do a meditation because you're focusing completely on each line as you draw it. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me, and I hope you go on to draw many more mandalas. Bye for now.